welcome to the video. I'm going to be demonstrating the different systems I've created for the Advanced Weapons and Vehicles module for my Master's year at Staffordshire University. I'll be demonstrating everything inside a sandbox level rather than the single player level because single player level has a lot of AI which can get in the way of a demonstration. And I won't be trying it in multiplayer because OBS does not like multiplayer. So without further ado, let's get into the sandbox level. So I'll be showing you 4 different systems that I created, two weapons and 2 vehicles. The 2 weapons are called the Shocker and the Quaker, and the 2 vehicles is the support truck and the VTOL. In general, all 4 of them haven't differed too much from the weapons and vehicles that I pitched earlier in the semester. So the first weapon I'll be showing you is the Shocker. The Shocker is a burst rifle, kind of similar to what you'd see in Halo and Fortnite. It has 3 rounds per burst, but you can tap to fire 1 shot. Although if you try to fire too rapidly, it will just act as a burst. You can see that when you're firing, it has a bit of a weapon spread, so it's not always going to be hitting the same target each time, unless you use a scope, in which case it's almost pinpoint accurate, but it's still, because of the recoil, you'll have to do a bit of re-aiming, readjusting to hit your shot consistently. As you can see there's a little red pointer showing you where you last hit. This is so you can trigger an AoE effect that the Shocker is able to do, which works like if you get enough shots. It takes about 7 shots to do the AoE, and they have to be relatively close. As you can see, the Shocker has a kind of lightning electricity effect. That basically means it's an electrical weapon which can conduct electricity to objects within the world, specifically objects where you can see this lightning icon. So with that, with the Shocker, see what I mean about the AI being a bit overwhelming? This is just one of them. But so you can activate jump pads. Ordinarily this wasn't in the original framework, but it's something I added just to give a bit more functionality to the weapons. So you can deactivate them in the editor, which will mean they have to be activated by a Shocker, otherwise they can just be placed in, working as normal. So the AoE effect, again, hit this point several times and it will spread to enemies nearby, dealing a little less damage than it would to the one that was hit with the AoE, but it's still damage nonetheless. Other things that can be electrified, I guess, are these explosives. If you get enough shots in them, they will charge and explode after a little bit of a time. Explosions can also trigger these if they're close enough, just because, you know, it might be fun to have a whole line of explosives. There's also these electric grids, which will electrify when you shoot them. They have a bit of more, oh, what's the word? They can be used to different advantages. So if you have multiple of these grids attached to each other like this, they don't even have to be not like attached in the engine term. I just mean like put right alongside each other. The electricity will conduct to other grids. Going across these will do damage over time, so you can use it to kind of trap players, I guess. Like have that as the one way across a gap, so players can be smart about it. I also added medpacks to the framework because there weren't any, and I kept dying a lot trying to test stuff. So the keypads are items are created just to open doors and stuff, so you can do it with the ordinary functionality of like go up to it and press E. But if you want to activate things at a range, you can use a shocker to activate things and open doors, or activate lifts. Another thing I added, kind of separate to the vehicles and weapons, is these weapon crates. Originally in the framework they were just another type of plate similar to the ammo, so you just see the weapon hovering above it instead of the ammo. But I added in a kind of ranking system, sort of similar again to Fortnite. So as you can see in the bottom left corner there, the weapon icon has a green outline and then next to the name is C. So that means this weapon is common. There are 4 different types of ranks. There's common, rare, epic and ultimate. Each kind of increases the damage. Most of the ranks, all the ranks increase the range. Some will increase accuracy, some will decrease accuracy depending on the weapon. And some will amplify the effect, so the AoE will kind of have a larger range than the Quaker's effect. Okay, so this one is set to just give you the ultimate. So, as you'll probably be able to see, this will defeat the robot a lot faster. It'll also be a lot more precise, so if you look here, there's less of a spread. Still a little bit of a spread, but it's not as wide, and you can get the AoE effect a lot easier without having to scope. AoE effect from without the scope, so no, or you won't. We saw the AoE effect earlier anyway. The next weapon is the Quaker. So this again stayed pretty close to the pitch I did, in which it's a shotgun with a wide spread. It normally does about 6 shots, but it's between 6 and 8 shots that can be fired. It's more effective at close range rather than at longer range. So the further away the A is, the less damage it does. But the special thing about this shotgun is that it has a charge ability, which will add a gravitational effect. So if you charge it up a bit, it will send enemies flying. This also does work with players in multiplayer. And that effect can also be used for like a platforming style ability, so you can launch the player into the air and kind of get to higher places. And it can also be used on any physics object in the level. Like with the Shocker, the Quaker does have some interactivity with the level. So if you charge it, you can shoot a thermal explosive. Not that one apparently. And it will charge them because it's been moving fast and it hits a wall, and it'll trigger an explosion. If you get too close to the explosion, obviously it will damage you, but I was just on the edge there. So it's pretty much anything with this icon you can use. So with the Shocker in hand, it will change icons. Again, there's also this wall, well, cracked wall, which is meant to hide like shortcuts that the player can take across the map, or just make inconvenient blockages. So if you shoot that with a Quaker, it will explode. The Shocker isn't able to do that. Something worth mentioning is that the rarity of these weapons is biased towards the common weapons. So you're more likely to get a common than you are an ultimate, with the rare ones being slightly more common than epic as well. Okay, so moving on to the vehicles. Like I said, we've got 2 vehicles. We've got a support truck and a VTOL. The support truck is pretty much a recreation of the Warthog from Halo, including physics. So if your vehicle happens to be on its roof instead of its wheels. 1 second. You can go up to it, interact with it, and it'll flip it over and hope that it lands on its wheels. But it does tend to be stubborn. There you go. So you'll see on the back of it is a shocker. In the Unreal editor, this can be switched out to use a Quaker instead. Much like how this, well, exactly how this AI trucker is using it. You can tell it's something that will stand out for the AI driven vehicles is that they highlight red instead of the normal colour, but they work pretty much the same. Actually, I'll demonstrate this before. So if you destroy a vehicle, and if you, well, you can tell when it's damaged outside. If it lights on fire, then it'll also explode. But actually, that's not going to do it now because it's upside down. I'll demonstrate it with the other vehicle. So as you can see, if you climb on the back of the vehicle, you can pick up the shocker. I won't demonstrate that just yet because I want to actually show the weapon working. But in terms of controls, your mouse or your right thumbstick controls the rotation of the weapon, but the weapon also contributes to the steering of the vehicle. In fact, it's the only factor in the steering of the vehicle, so you have to aim to steer, basically. But the acceleration and deceleration is W and S, or the left up and down on the left thumbstick. And firing is your standard mouse click or your trigger. Now you can see at the top there's a health bar for this vehicle. If I can get the AI to notice me, hopefully we'll be able to show you how it reacts when it is damaged. Here he is. For some reason his effects aren't showing, but... So as you can see, when it gets low damage, it'll start to catch fire. When it gets to 0, it'll eject you and explode. So you've got to make sure when it ejects you, you get out of the way, or else you might get caught in the explosion. Again, here you can pick up the shocker. It's not going to do anything, because I think that's a... Oh no, it is a higher rank, so it will give you a rare version of the weapon from the back of it. And the same happens with the Quaker, because it uses the same parent class. One thing I didn't show you was that it does also have a knockback if you get accelerated enough, but I can't show you that. Actually no, I can, because I can restart the level and try to flip the truck over as quick as I can. Although, there we go, first ball, second try. So if you drive pretty quickly towards it, it has a bit of an knock effect. You can get maybe lucky and get it to land on top of your truck and get a good shot then. But yeah, it does have a bit of a knockback effect when you hit other players and AI. The final vehicle is the VTOL. It's a vertical takeoff or landing, I think is an acronym. I can never remember it though. But it's a pretty versatile aircraft, like I mentioned in my pitch, if you saw it. So the idea is that you can pretty much have as much control of the vehicle as possible. So your controls for it are, as your mouse is your yaw and pitch. W and S, or up and down on the left thumbstick, is your forward and back. And as a result of some feedback, I added strafing in, so you can move left and right whilst in the sky. Its damage systems work pretty much exactly like how the support truck works, except I can't really show it in the air because the AI isn't smart enough to look up into the sky. Weapon-wise, it has a machine gun which can overheat, so you have to manage that whilst firing. So if you spend too much time shooting in one position, it's going to overheat and you'll enter cooldown. You have to wait for that to cool down before you can shoot again. The second weapon of the VTOL is a missile launcher. So you'd have to wait for that to charge up before you can shoot it, but then it does AoE damage in the targeting reticle. So like you can see, I can't fire that because it isn't fully charged. You'll notice when it's fully charged because it'll light up green, if you noticed that earlier. See? If you exit the vehicle whilst in the air, it will eject you from the door and you might fall. Luckily there's no fall damage. Well, no, you will fall. No, there's no might in it. But then the VTOL will slowly descend alongside you. So I can show off the damage here. So there you go. Low health will it'll start to catch fire. Any more damage and it will explode. And there goes your VTOL. And I think that is pretty much everything I needed to cover. I can show you this AoE effect. There you go. Before I finish up, I thought I might as well show you a bit of the level I built for the framework as well. Mainly for the testing mode, but also it's used for the multiplayer stuff. So the testing was split into 4 rounds. So you'd have a base reading and 3 other rounds where a sensor's sort of removed. The base reading had to be discarded in the end because people will spend more time getting to know the framework in that first round. As you can see here are some of the sort of environmental features I added in. But the map was pretty much based off of something I saw in Halo and I kind of just took it in a different direction. So, but uses very simple materials as well, but basically the player would have to defeat as many robots as they can. In the single player mode, the vehicles do also spawn in, so the VTOLs will spawn on top of here, and the support trucks will spawn like on each side. Well, not each side. There'll be one there, one on the other side, and one in the road, as well as the AI version. But yeah, thanks for watching the video, and goodbye.